vampires as your werewolf form. We'll convince you you're a Latvian superhero or werewolf, one of the two.
Probably a lesbian too. Probably. Why not both? What's your imagination?
That would be so weird.
Weird.
You
But
didn't
not
answer the
every-
question. You just dodged it.
Yeah,
convinced.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Ninja pirate, ninja pirate cyborg Jesus.
What powers would a ninja pirate cyber Jesus have, Lives?
Well, presumably there's walking on water, just because
I was
Jesus.
going to say, a pirate that can walk on water is a pretty good pirate, I think.
That is a good pirate.
I'm
And then you're a
assuming-
ninja, so you're really fast too, right? So like you could just like book it across the water.
I'm assuming that if you're a ninja, you also could throw a shuriken. If you could throw a shuriken, if you ever come onto land, and you go to the pub or whatever they fucking call it, you could throw darts.
Yeah, but Jesus could catch the darts and shuriken and the holes in his hands.
Oh gosh. Welcome to week 9. 9, right? 9. Yeah, it's been a lot of weeks. It's really not that many.
9.5 weeks. That's the movie, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's 9.5 weeks. Never heard of that movie.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a sort of
anyways,
flick, I think.
This week
Sorry.
we got 4 peeps so far. We potentially have a guest later. Hopefully he shows up. The admin of Exposing Feminism. Prentice Reed. Hopefully you show up if you're listening right now, or if you're sleeping, you wake up. I don't know. One of those things. I don't have a lot of articles going into this week, but we have plenty of stuff we can discuss. Why don't we start with our big old ban stuff we've had going on? Jay, you got comment blocked. I just recently got post blocked. Why don't you can go and start with your
I couldn't believe that I got fucking banned for. This post is the famous post of the guy asking the girl, "Are you a gender studies major?" And she says, "So what if I am? I am a gender studies major." And he says, "Well, why didn't you go into stem cells rather than pursue women's studies?" And she said, "Fuck you." I posted that on Atheism Unleashed, and I got banned for a day. I was fucking just baffled. Couldn't believe it. That was the dumbest. I mean, and there was plenty of people with participating in the discussions both ways. My favorite part, though, was some of the SJWs got on there and they'd say stuff. They were saying like, "Oh yeah, so it's stomping out equality, stomping out equality is, that's bad, right?" And I said, and I told them, I was like, "You're not for equality. You're." I just laughed at them. You're just not for equality. And then there was a bunch of non-SJ. Surprisingly, there's a large amount of people on Atheism Unleashed who don't subscribe to that whole fucking deal. And then I was surprised that this comment. I don't know. Craig doesn't think it was deleted, but at bare minimum, I was not able to see it anymore. It was somewhere on David McAfee's page, but I mean, all these people are talking about how feminism's pro-equality, and I just threw these up, just off the top of my head, and I started to get replies, and then I just couldn't see the post anymore, and all of my comments started going away on the page. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it might be a Facebook problem, but I do know with my post, I got like it actually said like, "Oh, this has been reported. This is against the Facebook community standards." And I'll tell you what the post is. Gianna had made a post about her nephew playing GTA 5, and the post was going along, and we were all, talking, discussing normal, and then the post started getting kind of silly, like a lot of posts do. It started derailing itself. We were all just talking shit, shooting the shit. This one person came along, and they were very, I don't know, adamant on their position on a certain thing, and they were being kind of like uptight. We were all being like, chill out, do that kind of stuff. And I made a post. All I said was everybody was joking around like, "Man, we should just all post like boobs. Everybody post boobs." And so, like, we tag some people like tagging people like so and so post boobs, and so I tagged one person post boobs, and I told this other dude to shut the fuck up and calm down because he was being really loud. So that post got reported or something, and I got post blocked for 24 hours for that. I don't know if they think that's harassment, like, you know, post boobs. That was harassment. So yeah, I don't know. That got me post blocked. It's ridiculous. I've never been post blocked for anything so stupid in my life.
Well, this means that we have a flaggot in our group. Flag things. I was post blocked too for posting a link to an image from Encyclopedia Dramatica. Gotta guess what kind of image would that be? Well, I didn't post. Well, it featured the quote unquote leaked nudes of Big Red. Well,
So I just found that thread. 446 comments. Jesus.
Yeah, I went a little crazy, especially near the end. It just kind of got really off topic. It started out as a really good discussion because we were talking about like how parenthood, how like, you know, who do you blame for the kid thinking that? Is it the parents? Or some people actually later in the post made the point that some kids seem to formulate their own like opinions without being told these things, and then, you know, it's kind of your job to correct their morality about it. And the situation was basically the kid thought that you know, well, Gianna misinterpreted a scene in the game as rape, but she described it to her younger nephew as like an attack. Oh, hello, Diligent.
Hey, how you doing? This is Prentice.
Oh, hey, good. All right. Welcome, Prentice. You are from the Facebook group or page Exposing Feminists, correct?
Yes. So I was an admin on there, but right now, you know, we're having creative differences. So it's a pretty long story, but you know, I'm a long-time anti-feminist, men's rights activist, proud human rights advocate, equalist, and egalitarian.
All right. Well, welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Right now,
Glad you could be here.
Yeah. Right now, so you don't have to be out of the loop, we're discussing a post that was are you part of the Anti-SJW group?
No, I'm not. I'm not really too familiar with it.
Okay. We just make a bunch of posts. We're often like just messing around, posting all that kind of stuff. One of the posts we're discussing right now was a post by a friend of ours in the group, and basically she talked about her nephew, an 11-year-old. She was playing GTA with him. There was a scene where two men in their underwear were like attacking this woman, and she misinterpreted it first because it looked kind of like rape. But she wanted to explain to him like separately, like, hey, this is like a kind of a bad scene, and she was trying to explain to him, like, you know, why that was wrong and why she like killed the two men. She was like, I killed them because they were attacking her. And then I guess the 11-year-old asked, like, well, what did the woman look like? Was she a prostitute? And she said, no, didn't look like she was. And he's like, oh, good, because if she was, I would have just let her take, you know, like let him take her. And she was, you know, kind of like put aback by that statement, which seemed really weird. Like, you know, he got this idea in his head that, no, well, if it was a prostitute, it didn't matter. It would have just, you know, let him take her. And so we had a discussion over it. You know, like, is that the parents' fault? Is it, do the kid, you know, how did the kid absorb it? Is it video games? Just sort of essentially what SJWs would probably immediately shut down as triggering and turn off their computer and run outside and scream, you know, that kind of thing. Anyways, if you guys have any opinions on it.
I mean, it's a fucking video game. My brother's 8 years old, and my parents bought him Assassin's Creed. And the dude can fucking play video games. And one thing my parents always discussed with him is they said, look, you know, everything, like what's happening in the video game, there's fiction and then there's non-fiction. You know, obviously what's real and what's in the game. What's acceptable is in the game is not always what's acceptable in real life. And he understands it. I mean, he gets it. He knows he's not, you know, he plays Assassin's Creed. That doesn't mean he takes a pair of scissors during art time and he doesn't go to school and just try to fucking cut somebody. He doesn't do that. I mean, kids aren't dumb. They get it. Fucking video game. I mean, it's like that post. Everybody didn't Penn and Teller debunk it or whatever, that video games don't cause violence and all that shit. I mean, that's what I thought. I should remember something about that. So fuck the video game.
That just reminded me of this video by Dark Matter about called Mass Murder Show. Well,
oh my god, that was a good one.
it was awesome. Like, how everyone plays the blame game. It's those damn video games. It's those damn movies. It's those damn oil painting.
Oh, I know. That video is spot on.
Well, to me, I mean, to me, it just goes to show how little, how few real problems they really have in life. Because I come from the slums, I come from the gutter, and you know, one of the last of your worries in life is going to be what's happening in a video game. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be, you know, how am I going to survive this week? You know, how am I going to keep my kids from getting shot or joining a gang or something like that? But something depicted in a video game is just isn't going to be a blip on the radar in terms of your real life concerns. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but third wave feminists don't have such problems in their lives, do they? They're just, their hobby is making problems up.
Yeah.
Just their lives are so comfortable that they can sit back and complain about the content of video games as if it's really like earth-changing things that are happening in there.
So I think it's video games. It's everything.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was contextually video games, but yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is a feminist issue.
I mean, isn't that the whole reason intersectionalism was created for them? Was that they can just take everything and say, oh, it's a part of us now. Like, we can deal with this, we can deal with this. You know, oh, you don't need your own group. Just come join us and we'll deal with it for you. We'll make it our problem because that's what we love to do, is have problems.
Just like in a cult. Tries to absorb everything. Just they have their own devil, the patriarchy, and there's everything. I don't know what the question was, but the answer is patriarchy.
Well, the irony in it is that you know, while they're, you know, on the surface they're pretending to care so much about disadvantaged groups and stuff like that, they've set up a legal system and set up laws based on their feelings that are persecuting these disadvantaged groups at a much higher percentage. And so, you know, they on the surface they care about the black people, but at the same time they set up a legal system that's imprisoning black people at a much higher rate. Especially look at you know, the rape laws and stuff like that, rape hysteria. You know, on the surface, you know, it's all about, you know, protecting the minorities and stuff like that, and you know, Black Lives Matter, but you know, behind the scenes they're locking up black men at much higher levels. So,
Brennis, when you and I had a chat one time about it, you talked about one thing that really annoyed you about them is how they would try to intersectionalize the race issue. You referred to it as something, I can't remember what it was, when feminists try to use you being black as a means to appease you, to say, hey, you should join us. I can't remember.
Well, it's basically an act of them using you and turning you into a mascot, basically.
Damn.
So, I mean, my shield springs to mind there.
My shield, that's a good way of putting it. It's pretty much akin to them, you know, dressing up in a costume. You know, they might as well be putting on blackface or something like that. You know, that's how ridiculous it is. when really, I mean, they've just replaced the hysteria that um, used to solely used to go after black men and lynch black men. They just replaced it with all men now. So
Yeah.
And so they're setting up a cultural climate where I fear that on one of these university campuses or something like that, I was going to take, because it's all about total rape hysteria. So I was going to take as an accusation. It's going to be, maybe the crowd's going to have, a little bit of alcohol in them. Somebody's going to get accused of rape, and they're going to pounce on that guy who was accused of rape, and they're going to beat that guy to death on the spot.
Oh yeah, I'm scared to get into the college party scene. I go to like a big party college. I'm scared to go to those kind of parties because I'm afraid. Like, hey, if I'm just having fun, who's gonna interpret my fun in the wrong way? Who's gonna decide? You know what? I don't want to ruin this man's life today.
Well, I used to love the nightclubs myself, man. In the urban community, that's what you do, man. Go in there and you have little competitions on who can get the most phone numbers and stuff like that. And today, the stuff we used to get away with back then, maybe 5-10 years ago, that's considered street harassment now,
Sure.
So it's one step away from being a criminal offense. You see a woman walking by and, you make a comment about her butt or something like that. And, she may be flattered, but, you may have some bystanders or something like that, and they might be feminazis, and, next thing you know, they're calling somebody up on the phone, and, guys with suits on come and whisk you away. That's how bizarre it's going to end up getting.
Yeah, I could see that. The thing is, like, Sony was it doesn't even have to be you had to say a comment. They just have to look. They just have to see your look and just be uncomfortable by it, and that's it for you.
The male gaze is illegal. Hey, can you guys hear me, by the way?
Huh?
Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Hi. Hey,
well, they just I don't know if you guys saw that article. It's funny you mentioned the male gaze. I don't know if you guys saw that recent article. I think it was in was it Jezebel, where they were talking about the Magic Mike film, and they were talking about how the male gaze is evil, but the female gaze is empowering. And the Magic Mike film put that on display and demonstrated how liberating it was to engage in the female gaze, to get even with men.
So pretty much they're just admitted hypocrites.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't have a problem with women objectifying men, and vice versa.
Yeah, same here. It's the double standards that these people express that bothers me with a lot of issues and stuff.
Well, they always claim everything is double standard, don't they? They say, like, oh, men get called this, or men don't get called this, and women get called this, and men don't get called this, and women get called this. And it's not a double standard. What it is what's being publicized. We publicize how crude and rude sexual assault against women is. We publicize how everything we call them is harassment.
Yeah.
But we don't, anything they could do wrong to men, any sort of verbal harassment, any sort of sexual harassment, that you don't see that on the news. You don't see, woman, raped man. You don't see woman did this to this guy. Woman did that to this guy. And I've got an old video.
Media plays a big part.
I've got an old video of an advertisement that I want to show you guys, if you don't mind. If you can keep the discussion going while I pull it up. Let me see.
Or you pull it up. What about the video?
The media does play a big part in how people see stuff, I guess. That is one big thing. Like the media will just portray like a situation and they're biased whenever they talk about certain issues like gendered issues or even race issues and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Everything from how they write out their clickbaity titles. They have to for certain things they'll make sure they include the description of the accused in their title. While some other times, if somebody from a oppressed group does the very same thing, they'll just give a very vague description in the title, or no description at all, like somebody did this and somebody did that.
Let's talk about victim politics and those double standards that played out in the victim politics. And ironically, the same groups that they claim to be trying to help, they're infantilizing because, only way an oppressed group or formerly disadvantaged group can achieve equality and persevere is by allowing them to the opportunity to achieve, and you do that by holding them equally accountable. Whether it's women or the black community, you have to hold people equally accountable, and that equal accountability is what allows people to mature. Because you're trying to, if you're raising children in this cultural milieu where they can get away with things just by playing victim and pulling the gender card and race card, then a lot of them are going to do it, and some of them are going to make careers out of doing it, and that's what we're seeing today.
As far as I'm concerned, as far as I see it, we have already achieved as equality as far as that we possibly can at the moment, or maybe just like equally. Legal. I thought you said equally.
No, legally. I mean, by the legal definition, we are equal. Well,
I think that's what equality.
In a sense, yes, but there's certain situations where there is no legal equality. I mean, you have to look at like in divorce courts and shit.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any actual laws. I might be wrong. Any actual laws that cause discrimination?
The laws that there's it's illegal to discriminate. Yes. Yeah.
And of course, there's always going to be discrimination in that sense. I think the only cases where there are laws protecting certain things is it is illegal to circumcise a female, but legal to circumcise a male. There's legal conscription of males, at least in the U.S. There's legal conscription of males, at least in the U.S., but not of women. And there's legal-wise, those are the big, hey, here's some actual legal inequalities.
Yeah, discrimination is a different story, but this is what I'm talking about. Like, we're not equal in that sense.
So social inequality is definitely an issue still, and people think just because we're all, Craig's trying to stress this as much as he can, just because we're anti-social justice warriors, Morris, doesn't mean we're anti-social justice.
I completely agree.
I think social justice is an important issue. It's something we need to talk about. We have problems here and there. My father, who's a police officer, acknowledges that there is a problem with modern police, and it actually comes a lot from that entitled mentality that a lot of people have, even in the SJW community. It's just who has that entitlement, and they think they're the right ones, and that's the problem. Instead of us all recognizing that we're really entitled, we think that we deserve all of these things, and really what we need to do is go back to this, idea.
It's not that the difference between us and SJWs is not that. I see it a little bit more. We're not.
It's the actions, right?
Yeah, it's
the actions and the intentions and the motivations behind their beliefs.
It's more of the results. Like, if somebody doesn't, it's like I don't feel like I need to go at somebody for, like, if somebody makes a racist statement online, I don't feel the need to find their Facebook. I mean, I saw a really case instance scenario where some girl, it was right after the Ferguson incident, and some girl on Tumblr posted up something very racist. Oh, well, you don't post up stuff like that on Tumblr. Good God, no. And
that's like a cardinal sin right there, man.
The community ended up, they doxed her completely. They found out They found her Facebook. They were messaging her mom. If I recall correctly, it was either they threatened her mom. They straight up threatened her mom, saying they were going to burn her house down for raising such a bigot or something. I don't remember if rape was threatened to this girl's mom, but it was just really, really extreme case scenario. They were calling this woman's work, trying to get her fired. I mean, and
they talk about harassment against women online and only.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You don't need to go that far. You don't need to go that far. I mean, that's just proving that they're fucking hypocrites because they harass. They will harass their dissenters, of course, but God forbid. I don't believe in God, by the way, but God forbid that you're a woman, or if you're a minority, or if you're gay, or if you're trans, and you do it. And if you sin against these people, right, or if you show dissent, or even have a just any sort of different opinion, they will fucking harass those people to the ends of the earth. While us straight white males, presumably,
Furnace is black.
They'll just call us like fucking shitlords and misogynists. They may try to take out our income, but it won't really go as far.
Well, I'm black, according to the feminists.
Family stuff.
Okay, hold on. Let's hear this.
I'm only speaking for myself, by the way.
Yeah.
Hold on,
I'm only speaking for myself.
I'm black, but according to the feminists, I'm white. It's pretty interesting, when you're an anti-feminist page moderator or MRA page moderator. Because, I mean, their first argument is almost always you're just a bunch of neck-bearded white men who can't get laid with small penises and stuff like this.
Yeah, that is another thing that they do.
It's only true of 3 of us.
Yeah.
That is something that they do. That is something that they do. Like, sometimes their cognitive dissonance will not, conceive that it's possible for anyone that they claim to defend, right? They'll just rationalize, it's just another one of those straight white males. They'll just call you a sock puppet and fucking leave.
Oh, yeah. How many times have you been called a sock puppet?
The fuck is a sock puppet? The fuck is that?
It's like a fake account.
It's just that's okay. So I knew that.
It's like a bot, a fake account, or.
They think straight white males create fake female, black,
Hispanic,
all those kind of accounts. Yeah. But
when I was an admin on the Exposing Feminism page, I went out of my way to try to get people of different colors from different backgrounds and opportunity to be admin on there. And what we ended up having was we had 3 male active admins and we had 3 female active admin. They never acknowledged the female admins. One of the female admins is from India.
What?
Yeah.
No.
So,
I got you.
Anti-feminist in India? That is big because
that is fucking huge. But the thing is, the reason why they're probably not acknowledging her as well is because guess what? The progressive stack. Like if they're not acknowledging the Indian woman, right? And it's like criticizing her would be racist,
Yeah.
So we can't do this. Most of these social justice wars, most of these radical feminists are just like not upper class, but upper middle class white people who are ironically privileged, and they bitch about that fucking bullshit.
I don't like how and this kind of goes along with it, but it's not even like when I comment or I had my profile picture was with me and my girlfriend. And there was more than a few times I comment on the feminist page, and they would say, "I feel sorry for your girlfriend," or she's dating somebody. I'm like, so if I have a girlfriend, you're not attacking. Like, okay, so if you don't have a girlfriend, they attack you. But if you do have a girlfriend, they attack her. They attack her. How do you not fucking get that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not get that? What's fucking wrong with that?
They're trying to save her. They're trying to save her from your toxic masculinity. Don't you see? They have good intentions. They're good people. They're just trying to save her. Do you not see?
Here's the irony right here. they claim that men are these sex crazed lunatics, but at the same time they're shaming you for supposedly not being able to get laid. So a guy who really is crazy is going to take that as motivation to do anything he has to do to get laid by any means necessary.
Are you talking about rape culture? Rape culture.
Yeah.
I saw something on Rain. I saw somebody on Reddit.
I got a very unique. I got an interesting viewpoint regarding rape culture.
The Rain actually says we shouldn't. People should not be attesting that we live in a rape culture because it gives actual rapists a smokescreen to hide behind, which makes sense because.
Oh, that is cool. That is I've never heard that before. Like,
I have the link.
Can you elaborate?
I'd have to find the link. It's somewhere in my Reddit saves, but it was really. I took a very interesting. It was interesting because I would think that something like a bunch of more SJWs would listen to stuff like that. It was talking about they were just.
It sounds like actual analytical theory, doesn't it? But that wouldn't fit their narratives, so you can't do that.
Not at all.
Here, I'll play this video in the meantime. This is an old Super Bowl ad. This was on during the Super Bowl. And I'm going to play this, and then I have this other article I was looking at, related kind of to it, not directly to it. But the idea is that, feminists always talk about, like, how, be gender neutral, do this, don't be so, learn everybody's pronouns kind of thing. But this ad is targeted at domestic violence, and it doesn't directly say stop domestic violence against women. However, just pay attention to the language they use, and tell me if you hear the same thing I hear that they're pushing in this ad.
No more, it's none of my business. No more, I'm sure they'll work it out.
No more, boys will be boys.
No more, I'll say something next time.
No more, why didn't she tell anyone?
No more, she was flirting with him.
No more, she's too smart to let that happen.
No more, not my problem.
No more, he didn't mean it.
No more, why doesn't she just leave?
No more, he said he was sorry.
No more, she was drunk.
No more patriarchy.
No more, she was asking for it.
No more, she seems just fine to me. No more, she should have been more careful.
No more, we don't talk about that.
No more bystanding.
No more ignorance.
No more excuses.
No more.
No more.
No more.
No shit.
No more.
No shit. No shit.
So we can end domestic violence and sexual assault. Did any of you pay any attention to the words used?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever heard he this unless they were talking about he the aggressor, which.
Yeah, they're talking about being the aggressor. They're only addressing.
By the way,
they're only addressing men. Yes, we do have a flag it in the group. In this hangout specifically, or on the page?
In the group, so someone flags others' posts or comments for harassment or rule violation. I've been blocked for 24 hours. Dominic has been blocked for 24 hours recently, and other people too.
So
I've had my block before.
I'm pretty much an established comedian on the page. And I post a lot of shit, and people shouldn't. I hope I don't get fucking flagged because I only make fucking jokes on the page.
Apparently, I told
that. Fucking sense of humor. Yeah. Like I understand, why some people view the anti-SJW groups sometimes as like right wing or like white, or call us like racist white nationalists, because we do have it's a side effect. We do attract these kinds of people because they confuse the term SJW with like social justice, and they're just genuinely anti-social justice. And I have this fucking kitten that just wants to. Yeah, they're anti-left and all this.
Well, I mean, you have groups like Stormfront. You have groups like Stormfront.com that use some, they give lip service to actually caring about opposing, feminist overtures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, anytime it comes comes time to actually standing up and helping men, they don't give a shit. But you know, so they'll gravitate to quite a few of these catchphrases, but you know, they're still, at the end of the day, they're still white knights, and they will kill you based on mere accusation from a white woman.
So I found the rain statement. However, somebody remarked on it, and it says the thing about the whole rain statement is it feels like some weird pendulum crossing between sanity and nonsense, because rain is fully against the thought of rape culture. However, they use some version of the 1 in 5 statistic, and many people reference them when claiming that 98% of rapists go free. Isn't that funny that they always always go for the facts that they want from everybody? I mean, I'm not saying I agree completely that, I mean, it could be misleading about how they presented it, but I'm trying to find in the actual
PDF. Not every organization is perfect, you know, like, because you got to remember that they're just an organization. I guess they're inherently unbiased, but I guess they have some, like, I don't know, I guess they have, like, the bias would probably be on an individual level in that organization, because I've heard many things. I mean, I've heard about Rain, I've heard about things that they've said and what they believe. I know that they don't fucking like the idea of, like, this rape culture shit, and sometimes they're rational, sometimes they're irrational. It's just a mixed bag with them.
Well, let's go back to this claim that, you know, men are not helping women. Men are just being bystanders when they see women being sexually assaulted, and this idea that we live in an epidemic of rape, or, you know, sexual assault.
If I had a nickel for every time I was mowing my lawn and there was a woman getting raped on my front yard, I would just even, man. My toucan.
Put that in the chat box there. That's the latest statistics.
I'll pull it up.
Over the past decade concerning sexual violence against women.
Shit.
So right away we see that the rate of sexual violence against women has declined over 60% in the past decade. So the trend is a decline, overall decline in sexual violence against women, not an increase, not an epidemic. So
I guess it just goes against the feminist narrative, so they just conveniently gloss over it and turn a blind eye to this good fact right here.
Exactly, and you wouldn't know this.
Remain relevant. They want to remain relevant, and so they just fabricate. They just fabricate statistics. They could pull the patriarchy out of thin air if they really wanted to.
And that's essentially what they're doing. And I suspect this is the overall trend across the Western world. And the reason why I believe this is the trend is because people are becoming more lethargic. They're not walking around as much. They're staying relatively stationary. And they're playing video games, spending time online versus, you know, walking around looking for women and girls as much as they used to, you know.
Yeah. And also these like, for some odd reason, the fucking feminists, you know, talk about that as that's a bad thing too. Like what do they want? Do they want us to stay away from women, or do they want us to chase women? Because it seems like that these people, since they're not getting a man because they're so fucking vile, right?
They want you to get your armor out of your closet, put it on, and walk behind them and slay any enemies in their path. That's what they want.
Yeah, and
White
you know, they don't like us having man caves. They don't like us, you know, having these like cookouts and grills, going to the bar and fucking playing video games and all this other crap. You know, and there's ladies' night out and nobody's fucking complaining. But when there's a guys' night out, the feminists be like, oh look, there's another pack of rapists over there.
Well, I mean, the sad thing about it is you have these parents now, they're afraid to even let their girls go outside and play.
I guess that's always been sort of like a thing.
Oh my god.
That's always been.
I couldn't believe that I got
in the context they speaking, then is that, I mean, I understand the context they speaking, but I'm talking on a very broad sense.
Like, you know, what is it?
Overprotective parents.
Well, overprotective has become, I don't know if there's some sort of hysteria going around. For instance, Halloween. You know, kids used to walk around the bloody streets all the time. Now, I see parents driving their kids house to house.
You're shitting me.
No, not just in this. Because it's safer. Because they want to watch some of the good things. You know, there was a scare a while back.
You live in LA.
Razor blades and apples.
I mean, it could be LA. It could be an LA thing.
I live in a really nice suburb, like.
Oh, really? I don't.
Where anything bad ever happens, you know, kind of thing.
I don't live in that.
You know,
I live in North Hollywood.
So, but you know, people go around like, oh, they're worried. Oh, have you heard the latest thing? You know, they're putting razor blades in kids' apples now.
Has that ever happened? Like, seriously?
I don't know if it's actually ever happened.
And that doesn't really happen. I live in the Midwest, and like unless you're like living in a really bad part of Chicago or another city, you don't really see parents driving their kids around. Yes, parents are watching their kids, but they don't really keep a very close eye on them. I do think that there's I don't have kids myself, so I can't really say shit on like people's, you know, how they raise their kids, but I do think that there is a fucking massive hysteria regarding, you know, kids being snatched up. Yes, be vigilant and shit, but you don't need to be on the kids' ass like flies on shit on everything that they fucking do. You know,
well, I mean, when you really look at it, though,
there's some fucking schools that kids can't play dodgeball because they're afraid of whatever, or games like tag. You know, it promotes violence or something like that. Like, people are going too far, I think.
Huh.
But here's where the similarity comes into play right here, though. So we just watched that No More video, that ad there. Yeah. And when you really look into it and read into it, basically what they're telling you is that they want a male chaperone to be there around women at all times. You know, there's not going to always be a male bystander around every woman. You know what I'm saying? That's unrealistic.
Aside there from being more women than men on the earth, presumably, but everyone has their own personal time as well. So, population speaking, it would technically be impossible anyways.
It would be impossible. So, essentially what they're telling you is that they want you to chaperone women again, like they used to back in the 1930s. You know,
and in a way, they're trying to bring back chivalry, but they're doing it in a very completely ass-backwards way by antagonizing men and being like vitriolic. What's it called? Vociferating cunts.
Well, you know what they say? Boys will be boys, in that. You know, like they claim that boys will be boys is some sort of harmful phrase. That phrase is designed to basically say, look, they're fucking kids. They don't, you know, kids do kid things because, you know, they're learning. It's a learning experience. You know, I didn't get told boys will be boys because I was, like, molesting some girl as a kid. I got told boys will be boys. I got told boys will be boys when I was outside playing. I jumped off of a, you know, like a, you know, a big ledge and I scraped my knee, and then I get right back up and start playing again.
Yeah.
You know, oh, boys will be boys, because we're learning. It's a learning experience. I'm learning how to, like, you know, oh, I shouldn't do it this way because I'm going to hurt myself. So now,
you know, maybe they're just upset that that's just maybe it's just a gendered term that they're upset about. Like, you know, what if those boys were really theirs? What if they're other kin? What if they're fucking? What if there are girls on the inside? What if they're trans?
Apache attack helicopter.
The term is so offensive. Boys will be boys. You don't know if they're boys. They haven't consented to being boys.
I sexually identify as an attack helicopter. That is the best. Oh my god. That is the comment that brought me to 4chan. I couldn't believe it a few weeks ago. Somebody told me that I advocate rape culture because I bought my girlfriend Mace.
Bought her Mace. You advocate rape culture because you're helping.
Well, they don't want these fucking women, right, to defend themselves from rapists. They want to teach boys not to rape, like as if that's gonna fucking stop anything.
That was
because some people still have primitive genes in them. Because back when we were all cavemen, of course we'd be fucking raping women, but these primitive ass genes, they just wear off because we're becoming civilized monkeys.
Oh, by the way, I know why they're trying to say that. They have this blank slate religion. Basically, they think that just everyone is a blank slate, and every pattern of behavior is learned and not inherited. But they don't realize that science has discarded this a long time ago, and a lot of behaviors are just inherent. And if you look at the rapists, they aren't normal people. They're basically sociopaths who have no empathy or anything. So you can't teach a sociopath to be empathetic because their brain isn't wired the right way.
They're animals. That's what I'm getting at. Is that they're animals. They've still retained their animal instincts, like as if evolution has just like turned a blind eye to their genes. You know, just like them and fucking.
Well, I'm a war veteran, and you know, people predicted back in the day that once women started joining the military at higher numbers and stuff like that, you know, it would result in automatic equality, and you know, women would become these super independent, super women, you know, and you know, this was what was predicted by feminists. You know, they would prove that they did not need men to hold their hands and stuff like that. However, what we see in the military today is quite the opposite.
It's just,
yeah, I can attest to this.
How would I put it? They just lowered the bar, first of all.
They just hold women to a different standard. That's all.
And they just hold women to a different standard, like the Army. I think is for the best. I think a lot of like career lines are only for like people who are cut out for them. Like, would you just want like a fucking inept person to be your brain surgeon, for instance? Like
the New York female.
Like if they lower the bar in a certain field, yeah. If they
one of the things that
it could lead to people dying.
One of the things that drove me out of the military was just the seeing the double standard over and over and over. Now, don't get me wrong, you had some women in the military who did pull their weight and tried their best and worked their butts off. However, what happened was they allowed the wrong type of women in the military to basically get away with murder. So, you know, they had all these immense double standards to the point where, you know, they could get pregnant overseas, which we had quite a few doing that in Iraq, getting sent home. And so you start off with, you know, maybe say 30 soldiers in a platoon, and say five women in your unit get pregnant and get sent back home.
5.
So now you got 30 soldiers on paper, but really you've only got 25 soldiers in Iraq.
None of them were killed. They were all just sent home. Jesus. Oh my God.
Well, here's the crazy part, though. When people ask the Pentagon, hey, are you keeping track of the numbers of how many female soldiers are getting sent home pregnant? The Pentagon said, no, we're not, and we're not interested in those.
You know, I just had a thought. What if female conscription was added to the draft, right? You know, like how many women would try to get fucking pregnant to get out of the draft?
Yeah. Well, they do have an issue with that in places like Israel, where it is a part of the law that women do get drafted. And so, you know, all of these immediate concessions come out for women so that they can get out of conscription. And to the point where in their last conflict, the only soldiers that were killed were male soldiers. Not a single female soldier was killed. But that was my big wake-up call to the double standards in society, was in the military.
When I was in Iraq, we had a girl that was fucking an interpreter, and I was like, what the fuck is this girl doing? This stupid bitch actually tried to leave. She tried to leave the fob with an interpreter, but they caught her. Like they caught her getting in the car, and
isn't that fucking
the Middle Eastern interpreter?
Huh?
Isn't that deserving?
Was this guy Middle Eastern?
Yeah, the guy was Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
The guy was Middle Eastern, and she was just like swearing up and down that she loved him. And what was funny was that all she got a slap on the wrist. Both times she tried to leave.
That's fucking deserting, though, isn't it?
It is technically deserting.
I don't know a lot about like military law. You guys know more.
Same here. My knowledge is quite limited as well. By the way,
they busted her in the act, and
I just know people.
They busted her in the act, and I mean, this is kind of stupid because she didn't even get punished. I mean, I talk back. I got a mouth on me. I don't give a shit. I don't care who you are or whatever. I have a mouth on me. I've always had a mouth on me. Even the army.
But let me ask you this though. Did she come up missing, and did you have to look for her and stuff like that?
No, they eventually had to get somebody to escort her until they were finally able to say, you know what, we're tired of this shit. Because she did it twice, and they said they're not going to be held accountable for.
They give her a fucking helping hand to watch her. Is that what you're talking?
Yeah. And what I was saying was I have a mouth on me. All I did was I talked back, and I would be fucking filling holes. I would be digging holes for no reason. They would have me digging holes 5 hours after patrols, doing fucking all this shit. But she's pretty much fucking trying to leave the command, and.
All she got was a ball and chain of somebody to watch her, right? That's all she got, and you're just you're digging holes, you're doing fucking detail and bunkers and shit, while she just has a metaphorical ball and chain watching her.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys hear about that? Did you guys hear about that Marine colonel who just got fired?
What do you do?
For trying to hold the female soldiers to a higher standard, equal standard with the men.
Oh shit! Tell me this. Is there an article on this?
Yeah, let me see.
That's fucked up.
Because feminism is pro-equality, right?
Yeah.
Pro-equality.
I mean, there was the
equality.
The firefighter woman who she failed the physical test in New York.
Yeah, in New York.
To be a firefighter.
My girlfriend's in that line of work. She was fucking pissed. She's like, how am I gonna have to pass by those? She was able to actually pass by guy standards. Barely passed by the guy standards. But she passed by the guy standards, not the girl standards. That's how she kind of swayed from feminism too, was because she brought it up that she didn't think it was fair that women were held to a different standard, a lower standard, and she caught so much hell from the feminists at school.
What is it?
Okay, it's right here.
Basically, feminism is pretty much not going for equality. They're just.
Then drop that in the chat box.
Oh, you got it? Sweet. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, that's it right there. Now, I want you to pay attention to this particular part of the article here.
Let's see it.
I'll just post a quote right there.
I'll screen share it.
Chat box. Now, this is the quote that stands out right here.
Germano also reinforced gender bias and stereotypes in the mind of her Marines by telling that male Marines were not.
Gender bias and stereotypes.
Can you zoom in? Dominic, can you zoom in?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'm trying to look for that quote. But yeah, here, I'll zoom in. Is it better?
No. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
It was in the paragraph.
All right, there we go. It's in what paragraph?
Right there, the fourth paragraph, I believe. I thought I saw the word gender stereotype.
Yeah.
It was a female. It was a female female officer too, who was told a toxic leadership environment.
Oh my!
Leadership.
Hey, what I said
that
earlier,
sounds so fucking feminist.
Yep.
What I said earlier about female dissenters, case in point, right here.
Oh yeah, they made an example out of her.
And they say we're misogynists and we fucking treat women like shit. Ironic, isn't it?
The investigation found she made comments during a sexual assault prevention brief that female Marines interpreted as a victim blaming. Let me guess. She said, somebody might try to rape you, so, you know, keep mace on you or keep this on you. Be careful.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what she said. I'm guessing she tried to warn them about danger, and they took that as victim blaming.
Oh, yeah. Victim blaming. That's another feminist phrase right there.
It's a redirection. That's what it is. It's a
Stupid ass
redirection.
word.
You shouldn't be accountable for your own public safety. Everybody else in the world should be accountable for your safety.
I still like the what was it? Somebody said something about I posted about victim blaming on Reddit, and somebody said it was like the teach all men not to rape, and somebody's like teach all people not to steal from cars or whatever. Actually, they use black people printers, so I'm not going to say face.
Teach all mothers not to drown babies, because that's a distinct mother problem.
They said teach all black people not to steal from cars. And while we're in the and if anybody knows, I'm in the market for a new stereo. Mine got stolen because I didn't lock my car at work. It was a good one. A perfect analogy.
I think
was like,
you know, a lot of times.
Culture.
Well, the feminist next response is, you know, they always say that and they're like, are you comparing me to an object? Is that what you're doing? Are you, you know, like, you know, it's not the same as stealing. It's not. Yes, it is. Crimes are all they're fucking crimes. Okay, people commit crimes because they're criminals. They're not committing crimes because, oh, you know, society tells them it's okay to commit that crime. They're committing crimes because they're fucking criminals. That's why they're doing it. Nobody told anybody it's okay to murder people. People don't murder other people because they think it's okay to do that. Like, oh, it's okay for me to just kill a bunch of people. That's totally fine. I'm pretty sure John Wayne Gacy didn't think it was okay to molest and murder children. You know, I'm sure he knew that there was like a legal problem with it. That's probably why he didn't come out and say that he did it. You know? Because if people thought it wasn't an issue, they would come out and openly say, "Oh yeah, I raped that girl. Oh yeah, I murdered her. Oh yeah, I did that." If they're under this delusion, that somehow that crimes are not, they're not crimes. that we as a people don't think of these things as crimes. Crab Cakes United. Who the hell is this?
Me.
Oh, it's you. Okay,
Me.
I haven't seen it. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Sentient for Cloud of Doom, but this is Crab Cakes United. It's my Google Plus page. I don't know how to get my it's just my profile. But Sentient for Cloud of Doom is my page. I would like to join a hangout as that. I could start them though.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, whatever, man. Oh okay. Oh you do you have a connection problem there, Prentice? Hello. I think he might be having some connection issues.
Something. But anyway, I do have to cut it short for myself right now because I got to get ready and I have to go to work.
You're at work. All right. Thank you for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. I'll see you guys later.
All right.
And stay oppressive.
Yeah.
Bye.
Man. Let's why don't this is a good opportunity for us to hopefully oh man, we just lost like 3 people. Jesus. I was asking if the article, is my screen share locked to the screen? Like, is that what you see?
Yeah.
Or like
I see it.
If somebody else
talks. Your profile picture. Oh, it's locked. It's locked. Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
People in Hangout can do that too, I think.
Yeah,
I locked it.
But I was just making sure because when I stream, it shows from my perspective. So if I don't lock it to the screen, I think it like pops around on the live stream. So I just want to make sure it was like officially locked. But anyways, let me open up this other. Oh, this is what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about the related. The video that I showed, because that was an older video, but I wanted to show it to kind of relate to this, which is something that Harry actually, I guess he made a comment on it, and so it showed up on my feed. And so it's like a wheel. It's like a wheel of a bunch of things. Once again, blaming men for all of these things, and you know, women of course are not capable of any of these things. You know, women never use coercion or threats. Women never use economic abuse. Women never use male privilege.
By the way, you know what this reminds me of?
What?
Remember that last Hangout we discussed that article about this actual cock who was coerced by his wife to allow her to jump from cock to cock. No?
Essentially, yeah.
Doesn't that count as abuse?
I'm pretty sure. Well, let's see. I'm curious about economic abuse. Preventing her from getting or keeping a job, making her ask for money. Well, if it's your fucking money, yeah, she has to ask for your fucking money. God. It's like, no. If you're in a relationship, you should automatically be giving her 50% of everything you own. That's fucking bullshit. If it's your money, how is that economic abuse? How is that economic abuse? It's bullshit. Not letting her know about or have access to family income. How about, not letting her know about or have access to family income? So you mean like not letting her know about the income that your family makes? Like, if your parents are rich and not letting her have access, I don't fucking understand that. But I don't know. It seems like economic abuse could be a two-way street. It seems like what is it like?
Wait for the inheritance, like everyone else.
Yeah. Well, you know what else sounds like economic abuse? Forcing someone to give you money under threat of divorce or under threat of withholding certain things, which men. I don't know if men do that all the time. I know it's a certain type of gender that may do that more frequently than another, but I won't name names here. Using intimidation, using children, making her feel guilty about the children. Alimony, using the children to give messages.
Using children.
Using
yeah,
visitation to harass her.
Gender that does that a lot. There's a certain gender. It's probably like Zer or Zir. I'm not sure about what other gender that can
using visitation
fucking
to
use
harass
children as
Hold on, look at this. Using children to harass her that's you're basically visitation. You're basically saying that like, oh, when men come to visit, because they've been taken away from their fucking kids. Which you in the next line say that, oh, threatening to take the children away is something that men do to control women. When I don't know about you, but how many times do you hear, a woman saying like, fucking, oh, you can't visit your kids?
I hear it all the time. My mom.
Yeah.
And I hate to speak ill of the dead here, but my mom, she was like that with my dad.
Very like forceful with the visitation kind of thing, or it's difficult to talk about, man.
Just the issue. Yeah.
But minimizing, denying, and blaming, making light of the abuse and not taking her concerns about it seriously, saying the abuse didn't happen, shifting responsibility for abuse, saying she caught, like these. See, once again, it's like this entire gendered wheel, just basically saying, hey, look, men are the aggressors, women are, they take the aggression. They're the passive party here. And it's complete bullshit. They have these claims that like, oh, this shouldn't be gendered. This is, why do you claim women can't do this? Women can't do this. Women can't do this. But when it comes to anything negative, of course women can't do that. Women have never been able. Oh no, women can't do anything negative. That's not something that happens.
It's just it's mostly there's a lot of this comes from the victim narrative of the feminist branch, right? The feminist branch of the victim narrative. This is where most of it comes from. They want women to be perpetual victims because they need the patriarchy to exist for them to be relevant.
It looks like
a tweet. There was actually a tweet by some feminist activist who openly tweeted that if you are pushing for gender-neutral approach to domestic violence, you are enabling male violence or something like that.
Yep. There you go. These people are just so easy to read. I'm gonna tell you a little secret here. I used to work in a very SJW infested fucking pro-LGBT group. But it was like very much infested with feminists and SJWs though. And this was back when I didn't know what the terminology SJW or whatever, but I was aware of it. it forced me to actually leave from that group. That's, because I'd worked with these people, I enjoyed it. It was volunteer work, and I had to leave because these people were just unbearable and shit, and they would push this all that SJW stuff that you're just talking about right there. Like they talk about keep everything gender neutral, but somehow men are fucking, whatever. It's just stupid shit. I forgot where I was gonna go with that because I'm really fucking stoned.
Glebs, I hope you're really stoned with that 60s background you got going on. Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm back. My internet connection dropped.
Oh, dude, it happens, man. We've had worse props in the group. Don't worry. With people who like come in, never say anything, pop out, go back in, come in with like this static noise.
I got a topic. I got a topic I want to talk about. What is it? What is it with like but this is less about SJWs and more just about feminists actually. Why is it that like whenever they talk about they talk about like these trivial ass issues, right? Like sexist bathroom lines, the whole manspreading thing, and what is it? They were talking about sexist air conditioning.
Oh, their most recent. Yeah, I was about to say that too. Yeah.
What is it? They're talking about
the room too
like
cold. Women have to put on more
they try to
layers.
weave this conspiracy of like the patriarchy, right? Is everything. Like they talk about the air conditioning was a patriarchal conspiracy to fucking keep women cold or something, or just have mild discomfort. And this is some like seeing the Illuminati and everything tier level shit.
Well, the thing is,
actual issues go. But when actual issues go on, because a couple days ago I was thinking about the whole Rotterdam grooming gang thing, right? And you don't hear the PC crowd talk about this because the police covered up that shit, right? The 1,400 girls that got raped.
Yeah,
right? And I'm going somewhere with this. By the way,
I don't know what Rotterdam is.
It's Rotherham. It's in the UK.
Rotherham. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, can you tell me what the story is? I don't know what the story is.
I'll tell you. I know.
I want to hear from Craig. Craig's the UK guy.
Yeah.
As I'm in the UK and I'm not stoned just now, sadly. There was a big grooming scandal went on in Rotherham that the Asian community in particular basically imported their standards of what women should and shouldn't be like, and basically took advantage of young, white, impressionable girls, and basically, once they got the trust of them, they basically shared them round as basically paedophile prostitutes. And there was it was hidden up by the local authorities who knew about it, but were afraid of being called racist if they actually confronted them. Because the men were mostly Asian, they just got swept under the carpet and was allowed to continue for a long time, a very long time.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that is really fucked up. I'm like, I don't even live in the UK, right? And that issue fucking pissed me off. Yeah. Like it pissed me off. Like I've been researching that subject, like trying to come up with a devil's advocate for rape culture, believe it or not. Because in a way, the PC climate, right, the ultra PC polite climate, they're afraid to be they're afraid of being called racist because they're trying to invest because they're trying to. But anyways, inadvertently they're engineering a rape culture because the definition by Rational Wiki, Rational Wiki, trivializing rape, normalizing rape, or whatever, right? But if rape cases the perpetrators are of a certain skin tone, right, and the police don't want to investigate because they're being called racist, is that a rape culture in a way?
Feminism has created rape culture. For example, part of rape culture is that people don't take rape seriously. Well, after the mattress girl, the UVA case, all other stuff, where feminists hopped onto it and claimed that, yeah, it's true, listen and believe. Of course people won't take rape cases seriously anymore because of all this shit. So feminists have created parts of rape culture that didn't exist before they tried to destroy it. It's so painfully ironic, in a way.
Well, what they've done with this idea of this insurmountable, omnipresent, omnipotent patriarchy is they've buried the historical accomplishments of women, because they claim that without the feminist movement, women were never able to actually win any battles against the patriarchy. And so prior to the feminist movement, they will not acknowledge any achievements by women. So they'll say, well, women were not allowed to work before the feminist movement, which isn't true. Now, there was some work, some work discrimination, workplace discrimination. There were some jobs that were only that men were given open priority for. There were some occupations that women were excluded from,
like coal mining.
Yeah. But this, this idea that women could not achieve prior to the feminist movement, it takes a massive shit on the actual women who did accomplish things prior to the feminist movement.
What you just said just gave me an idea. Well, not an idea, but like a little theory.
You sure it's not the weed?
Well, yeah. I'm actually really stoned. My mind just went somewhere like this. Okay. I think I know why the feminists are trying to push women into STEM fields. Right? Because, back in the days of the patriarchy, right? The patriarchy's golden days, women were traditionally, like, when women were not starting to get into the workforce because they've had jobs for quite a long time, but some jobs were put into certain jobs, like such as nursing, such as medical stuff like nursing. They could be like a secretary, right? So they probably perceive these jobs as sexist and enforcing gender roles. So they want to put women in a fucking field that is dominated by men, of course, right?
Do they really want to put women there, or do they just want to claim that it's a problem? Because there are not enough women in STEM fields. Come join gender studies and find out why that's a problem.
Yeah. It's a problem because most of the men work in STEM field, right? And that's the only reason why it's a problem, because the thing is, like, women can choose where they want to work, and it seems like the feminists are pushing the women to go into the STEM fields because, well, it seems contradictory to me, because
they think we somehow don't want women in the STEM fields. That's not true at all. I was actually talking to somebody the other day. He's an older gentleman who he graduated from UCLA. He was in electrical engineering, and he joked about how one time he had like some sort of communication sort of class that he was taking for general ed credits, and for the entire first couple quarters of his college experience, he was going to all of his classes, and since he was an engineer, his classes were, maybe there was one girl in the class, maybe, right? It was mostly all boys. And then he took this communications class, and he was like, oh my god, there's girls at this university. Finally! He was like excited, because he basically hadn't seen girls his entire experience for most of university. And, it's like they think somehow we don't want girls around. Like, oh no, this is a boys club. Oh, I just want to hang out with the guys while I'm doing some engineering.
Awesome fast, huh?
Yeah, but that's not what we want at all. That's exactly the opposite of what we want.
Sorry to derail here, but the guy in the screen next to me, I think he's practicing magic. I think he's trying to cast a spell on us, I think.
Which one?
Let's just counter that. This guy over here. He's like...
Oh, you're talking about Steven? Because he's got his hand pointed to the screen? Hi, Steven. How are you doing?
He looks like he's trying to cast a spell. He's like...
Yeah, he did look a little mystic there.
Yeah, it's funny. I just couldn't help but note that. But
patriarchal
continue.
music.
Continue.
But I mean, they claim that the patriarchy prevented women from being inventors and being able to have patents and stuff like that. But and then that the feminist movement had to secure those rights for women, heroically. But I was looking into the actual facts on women's the history of women inventors, and actually the first patent was granted to a woman in 1836. That was way before the feminist movement. And by 1899, this was from Scientific American, thousands of patents had been issued to women. So, either the feminist movement has a time machine, or these women were magically able to achieve without the feminist movement.
In a way,
I'll tell you straight up, feminist practice revisionist history, and they also they only bring up anything historical, right? When it conveniences them, right? The SJWs do this as well. Whenever they talk about the Middle Ages, they talk about it as if it's the age of the patriarchy or white supremacy.
Glebs, you were about to say something good.
But whenever they
hold on a second there, man.
Sorry.
Feminism is like an abusive partner. Oh, without me, you are nothing. And look at all I did to you. How can you leave me? I was there for you.
I'm sorry, but you just saying it triggered me, man. That just triggered me. It just reminded me of the interview between Jank and Karen Strong.
Incredible things. Did I drop off there?
No, you're still there.
Okay. But yeah, it's like you said, it's like an abusive partner, and some of these women, they were achieving incredible things prior to the feminist movement, and they were doing things based on just sheer hard work, and they wanted to be recognized for their merits and not be portrayed as victims, But I would bring this up to this information about women inventing things prior to the feminist movement and stuff like that. And I was just naming one after another. Boom, boom, boom.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I heard from Sargon, you pretty much practiced a prehistory of feminism, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it, you research it and stuff.
Yeah.
Was feminism ever a relevant movement? Was there a point that it was ever needed, right?
Well, I'll say they did have some real gripes at first, but see, here's what they did. This is what they've been successful in lying to the public about and rewriting history about. They've changed it from prior to the feminist movement, it was chivalrous discrimination. It wasn't an evil patriarchy. I hate you, so I'm going to put you in chattel slavery because you're a woman type of discrimination. It was, I put you on a pedestal because you're a woman, and because you're on a pedestal, I'm going to protect you like I protect a China doll, and as a result, I'm not going to even let you get into an area where you can potentially hurt yourself or have to exert yourself.
So basically, so they practice benevolent sexism.
It's gynocentrism. I mean, the idea is, think the word patriarchy, the reason it's such a big problem is that you could replace it with literally fucking anything and just change some of your analytical explanations, and the issue is the same, right? You replace patriarchy with gynocentrism, and now all you have to do is just argue from a biological standpoint that, why do men do this? Gynocentrism. Why is this a problem? Well, because of gynocentrism. The same way you could say because of patriarchy. It's a similar situation. And then if you wanted to, you could go as far to replace it with the word fucking God if you wanted to. You could say, well, it's because God. When you can replace...
Go ahead.
Yeah. Go for it, man. Yeah.
Well, I'll put it like this. There's never been a time in history where there's been more female homeless than men. There's never been a time in history where men have lived longer than women. There's never been a time in history where women have had a higher murder rate than men. There's never been a time in history where women have had a higher imprisonment rate than men. Now, if feminists compare women's historical treatment with that of black people or Native Americans, and there's no comparison in any of those categories with the way
head desk.
And so, I mean, you have to ask yourself, what oppressed demographic has lived longer than its oppressors, has had a lower homelessness rate than its oppressors, has had more a percentage of the economy spent on it than its oppressors, and more recently, you know, has voted every president in office since Jimmy Carter.
The oppressed demographic that where if it gets slightly discomforted by an air conditioner, there's a news story about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, by the way, man. That women say air conditioning is sexist because in like business offices, men do, you know, they set the air conditioning higher. Sorry, bless me.
I did see that.
Yeah, go for it.
It was extremely interesting because the article first came from the Washington Post. It originated on the Washington Post.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I was reading it, and I'm like, man, is she joking or what? You know? And
I seriously hope so.
But here's what happened, though. Jezebel took it and reported on it as if it was real and as if she was being serious. So they took what could have been, you know, sort of a piece of sarcasm
situation.
And like you say, I mean,
you know, just nowadays you can't tell who's a troll or not a troll. You know, troll, not a troll. And
so I don't know.
I fell for a fucking troll not too long ago, and it was like this like kid named Super Minecraft Kid, very foul Minecraft player, but he was a fucking troll. And like I've been feeling bad about that ever since, and I'm just hoping that this fucking article is a troll.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, is she trolling them or what?
I've seen so many fucking trolls in the last few weeks. I don't know. My mind is like that your brain on drugs PSA back in the whatever time 80s or something. You know, this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Like,
yeah.
This is your brain. This is your brain on trolls. You know,
but I mean, going back to the prehistory aspect of it, you know, they actually did polls asking women. This was 1970, so this isn't, you know, prehistory, but this is relatively old, and this was at the height of the feminist movement. And so they asked women, you know, do you feel that you are oppressed or have a more difficult time in life than men? Do you feel that you're discriminated against overall more than men? Most of the women said no. Most of the women said actually we have an easier time in life than men. And the only area where they felt that they did face some discrimination was in certain opportunities of employment. So, but once again, they said that their lives were easier overall than men, and that overall they were treated just as fairly.
And then the feminists had to fuck it up and say that they're being victimized by the patriarchy, and boom, we're in this fucking nightmare now.
Yeah. So that's another thing they've been successful at misleading the public about, because, you know, this was at the height of most of their rallying and stuff like that. So when they see, you know, feminists out there holding signs and, you know, stuff like that, they're like, well, you know, women back then were treated like slaves. You know, that's the impression that been given.
Man,
but,
I wish I was alive during that time. Oh man,
the slave.
But the historical record does not show it. And as far as rape goes, up until relatively recently, the punishment for rape was death. You know.
Yeah.
If you got accused by a woman of rape, and keep in mind back then they didn't have DNA and surveillance videos and stuff like that. So it was oftentimes her word against yours, and if you got convicted, you were getting the death penalty.
Witch, burn the witch.
You probably still can get killed in jail for being a convicted rapist today. It's not technically the death penalty, but it might as well be. The death penalty would be a much more merciful sentence. In fact, it would be a much more merciful sentence because you're in a cell and you're waiting for your death. You know it's coming. Either way, because of the inmates get a hold of you, you're gonna go through a lot of fucking torture, then die.
But see, up until now, some states still have these laws on the books, but it was actually illegal to even say profanity around a woman. So I actually put together a collection of articles. I have a subscription to the newspaper archives, and I downloaded these articles. I mean, case after case after case. Men being accused of saying profanity around women and being put in jail or fined for it. And
I have a feeling that the feminists, once they find out those kinds of laws existed at one point in time, maybe still exist in some areas, they are going to start pushing it because this dude just cursed around me. It's the patriarchy. I'm so oppressed. My sensitive little virgin ears. He said fuck.
Well, one of the reasons they were so successful with their propaganda was that they aligned themselves with the prohibition movement. And as a result, they were actually successful. The feminist movement was the biggest force in getting the prohibition laws passed.
Yeah, they aligned themselves with the temperance movement. Yeah, I know.
And their argument was that the great Satan was men, and mankind could not control themselves if they had one sip of alcohol. You know what I'm saying? And in particular, black men could not control themselves if they had a sip of alcohol.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
By the way, this reminds me of another thing, not related to feminism, but related to propaganda. When the prohibition of drugs was first enforced in USA, there was this Opium Act, and it was based on a report that said that basically black men were going on rape rampages on cocaine, and there was no data cited, just like an opinion, and it was used to force the first prohibitions of drugs. So it's always using this fear-mongering and lies to ban something.
That's very accurate. And one woman in particular, famous first wave feminist, and this was in the early 1900s. Her name was Rebecca Lattimore, and she was a big pusher of prohibition. But she was the most influential feminist in the South at the time, and so basically, she was also the first woman to serve in the Senate, I believe, too. So this was
she that lady that would go into those bars and destroy all the alcohol with an axe?
No, I don't think that's her. But what happened was she gave a speech or wrote a letter, I forget which one, in which she said, if it takes the lynching of thousands of black men a day in order to save white women from rape, then I'm for it. I support it.
A Georgia feminist.
Something tells me that this particular I'm gonna say it's a racist strand of feminism still exists today. Believe it or not, I believe it does.
So let's see. Yeah, let me post that quote in the
I got the quote
chat box.
screen shared right now.
Okay, great.
Right here.
Yep.
If it requires lynching to
There you
protect
go.
women's dearest possession from ravening, drunken human beasts, then I say lynch 1,000 Negroes a week if it is necessary. Jesus.
Yep. Now,
A feminist said this.
Georgia feminist. Now
A
this
very
is the,
different kind of white knight would support them.
now this is
Holy
the history. This is the history they've succeeded in totally erasing. You know.
Oh, you never
and
hear him talk about this.
Not at all. And people have no interest in actually reading about it, learning about it.
Holy
Because,
shit.
I mean, the feminist movement's greatest tool in their arsenal is their claim about their golden history. Their heroic golden history, where they were the champions of equality for, you know, the entire historical record. You know what I'm saying? And that, you know, the only way people can achieve equality, including, you know, the poor black folks, is by relying on the feminist movement. So, you know, looking at the historical record and looking at what's happening today, you know, I can't help but be a skeptic. Just
Oh
put it
my!
like that.
Well, you know, look at this sentence is so familiar. Look at this. You know, these so-called lynchings for rapes will cover up for the discovery of consensual interracial sexual relations. You know, stories about, you know, like what is rape today are just cover up for consensual relations.
Yep.
You know, oh, you can't say no anymore. It's like, what?
I knew it. I knew it. I just knew it. This type of feminism exists today.
Well, it's a similar rhetoric. That's for sure. I mean, I don't
similar rhetoric.
don't
Yeah.
think a feminist would ever today say that sentence. Hopefully
Yeah,
not.
of course.
Now,
Of
guess
course.
can you guess what
She'll
party?
get fucking stoned to death.
Now, can you guess what political party she was part of? Just take a guess.
Democrat.
Well, I'm guessing this was the Dixiecrat kind of Democrat, yeah.
Democrat, yeah.
Yeah,
So
the good old Dixiecrats.
this is the feminist party too, the Democratic Party. They're supposed to be the champions of the black folks too. And I try to warn black folks. I'm like, no, like you're making a fool out of yourself. Really about supporting either political party, but especially the Democrats. You know. So now, when you look at the most influential and popular first wave feminists, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony. Now, Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton were fanatically opposed to the 15th Amendment. Now, the 15th Amendment gave black men and poor men the right to vote. They opposed that amendment under using the argument that black men did not deserve the right to vote before white women. Now, this was despite the fact that black men had given their lives, sacrificed their lives in every war in the nation's history to get that right to vote. So, you know, she was saying, well, black men are not intelligent enough to deserve the right to vote before white women. She basically both of them used shaming tactics against the white men in the nation, saying, shame on you for giving these unenlightened Sambos, that's what she called them, Sambos, the right to vote before us elevated white women. So this is part of the historical record as well. Excuse me. But you know, I mean, this is just something they don't talk about, and you're not supposed to know. So
Feminism, the classified file.
Well, you know, they still do that today.
History.
They have this way, and you know, what's sad about feminists is, you know, this isn't a compliment, is that they're excellent politicians, and you know, the reasoning being, you know, I don't know how familiar you are with Gamergate and everything that's been going on through that side of the latest coin. The biggest thing they did in the last year, at least, in regards to Gamergate, you know, last year they talked about at E3, at these gaming conventions, all the games that were coming out, they talked, oh, look, there's not a lot of women representation, and it was completely cherry-picked. You know, there were games over here that were completely displaying women, and if you look at the statistics of the games showcased at E3 from last year and the games showcased at E3 from this year, there were more games showcased with women last year than there were this year. But you know what feminists did instead is in this last year, they've gotten all absorbed into it, said they were trying to help the gaming industry become more progressive and open. And last year they were saying, this is sexist, look at all these bad traits, look at all that. This year, you know, they just put big idolized, you know, lenses on the games with women and said, look, we did something. That was us. We did that. That was all us. Thank you. You know, you're welcome. You're welcome. We made all of these games for you. Look at this. Look at what feminists did. And they didn't do shit. They didn't do jack shit. There were less games this year in relation to women than there were last year. But they put out their evidence. They push it out into the community, into Twitter, into Tumblr, even on the regular news, and they make it seem like they did something great for the gaming community. They're helping to combat sexism. And that's what I mean. They're excellent politicians. And that is not a compliment. They are excellent politicians.
Wow.
Basically. Yeah. Oh, by the way, they also remember how they claimed that, yeah, in Fallout 4 there will be female characters to play as.
Like it's never been.
Fallout 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, right.
Where there were female characters to play as. Oh God. And what was it? They got all like happy because like you could there was like the guy character wearing a dress in one of the showcases too. And like, oh, you know, look at this. There's, you know, there's no
it's
more.
Transphobic.
Yeah, no more fascist beauty standards. You know, oh, men can wear whatever they want, women can wear whatever they want. And it's like, no, the game's being goofy, like it's always been. It's fucking goofy, and they do that all the time. They're not trying to make some big political progressive statement. Yeah,
they're just inserting their politics into it. And besides, Gamer Ghazi went apeshit over that image saying it's transphobic.
Well, actually, I have a Gamergate meet up here in Georgia to go to on the 1st of August.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's been held by Kennesaw State University Men. I'm the media coordinator for them, and so you know, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a Smash Brothers tournament too.
Oh, that's cool.
Super Smash Brothers tournament. So that should.
You said you're on a military.
SJWs come over there to the protest. Be sure to share us the footage, okay?
Yeah.
You're on a military place in Georgia, you said?
Yeah, I'm on Fort Benning. It's
I've got a friend training there. He's like a young kid. He's my age.
Okay.
He's just started. He's doing. I want to say he's doing Air Force training, but he's working out to be an engineer, and I guess he spent his summer at Fort Benning. So that's kind of cool. It's like the 4th time I've heard Fort Benning mentioned in like the last 2 days. What a coincidence!
Oh wow, okay. But I'm right in shivery white knight country, so
yeah,
it's pretty fun being down here, and you know, it's pretty interesting because the feminists are relatively well behaved down here. We had a.
It's because the patriarchy's still oppressing them.
Yeah.
You gotta take down the Confederate flag, man. It's the fucking patriarchy.
Yeah, we had a meeting down here. We had an event down here. Another event thrown by Kennesaw State University Men. It was male students in peril gathering, and had a lot of great speakers out, and feminists were in the audience, and it's pretty interesting, pretty exciting event. While one of the speakers was talking, a feminist got up and shouted, and she said, "What are you doing criticizing rape policies for?" And something like that. She said, "You're just bashing feminists." And so, and it was actually one of the organizers' mother.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, so that was a pretty interesting part of the event, and got it all on camera, and you know, we had a pretty good time. And the feminists in the audience, they, you know, you could tell who they were because they had like the green hair and had the piercings, and they're
Holy
sitting there.
The problem hair.
Yeah, and they would roll their eyes when they would, the speakers were reciting their statistics and stuff like that, and they would squirm in their seat, and they would. They kept asking these questions. It was like, why do you criticize feminists over and over? And it's pretty interesting, man. It was just, that was my first time actually seeing a big gathering of feminists, and getting a good look at the body language and what they look like and stuff like that. And so actually at that event, no fire alarms were pulled. There was no noisemakers were there, or nothing like that. So
it's probably because people actually get prosecuted for pulling that kind of shit in the United States, or at least get sued. I mean, you see the Westboro Baptist Church always fucking suing people who try to infringe on their right to protest.
Yeah.
And they always succeed.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be. So.
But my impression of them is that I don't think the bottom level feminist really knows what she's a part of.
No.
Yeah, of course. A lot of it is just a lot of it has to do with that all welcoming label. Like, if you believe in women's rights, then you're a feminist. That's one big part of the indoctrination is the presumed alliance. Because just because you believe in women's rights does not make you a feminist. Feminism is just a label as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you have to gradually approach people who are, especially on that bottom level, and I think that's important. A lot of us, we spend our lives attacking feminists and SJWs, and there's nothing wrong with attacking the figureheads, but remember that a lot of those people are just sheep. They're bots. They don't know what they're doing. They don't understand it. And if you explain it to them, a lot of them will change. I've explained to several friends of mine, female friends of mine, who are like, they always talk about how prominent feminists they are, and there's really two. This is how they're like just an underling essentially. Is they'll say really two things for the most part, especially if they're college age. It's 77 cents, 1 in 5. If they say those two things and pretty much nothing else, then you could say, okay, I know how to combat this. I just have to careful. Don't mansplain to them, because they might call you out on that bullshit. But the way I said, I was like, actually, some of that data is a little, misinterpreted. And then, I'll be like, there's the study it came from, actually shows the data is different, but their conclusion was based incorrectly. And and then I'll explain to them how some of the data is wrong, and they're like, oh, that's interesting. I was like, yeah, it's rape, and you have to ease them into it. You can't just immediately say, now you need to deny feminism. It's, rape is still a problem, and there are some inequalities in our life. But I think we over-exaggerate them, and that's where it's been like a triggering event for some female feminists who have changed to anti-feminists that I know. Is once they get this idea in their head that things are over-exaggerated, they start looking at things and saying, actually, to other people too. They'll start saying things to other feminists, and those feminists will attack them. They'll be attacked. And then they're like, wait, why am I being attacked? I'm just trying to be reasonable. And then all of a sudden they come to this realization, holy shit, feminism is poison. It's poisoned. It's a poison well.
That's a good point.
Basically, just give them that one little red pill and see what they do with it. And let nature do what nature does, is nature.
Well, that's a good point. You have to stay focused on the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is we're really up against the feminist leadership, and the groups that represent them, not specifically the feminists on the street. And that's why I concentrate on groups like, National Organization for Women, which is the largest, most influential feminist group in existence. And National Organization for Women is poison. And, so I'll say to them, well, this is why I'm not a feminist. And I'll say the feminist movement through organizations like National Organization for Women are responsible for opposing and getting shared parenting bills killed historically in a variety of different states. And as a result, they are responsible for denying children equal time with both their parents. a countless number of children equal time with both their parents. And so I'll lay out the data. This is them opposing shared parenting in 1990. This is them opposing shared parenting in 1995. This is them opposing shared parenting in 1996. This is them opposing shared parenting in 2000, in the year 2000. So I'm giving them the links right to the National Organization for Women's page, telling them that they're opposing shared parenting.
Apprentice, actually, I've been facing the NAW recently. I've been looking at something. Somebody cited that in 2012, when the on their own page, it does sound like a little bit of noise. Stephen, do you have like a bit of a background noise going on? Sorry, just a quick side.
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think so. Maybe.
It's weird. Oh, I don't know. Anyways, but it's just like a crinkly sound, maybe. I don't know, some sort of crinkly sound. Do you have a fan going?
It might be on computer.
Oh, I might do that. Sometimes it makes noise, but anyways, so I was looking with like the NAW. Somebody had posted that in 2012 the NAW supported the redefinition of rape so it could include men, and the only other source I found for somebody saying that was the NAW themselves. And I looked at the change that was made in 2012 by the bureau, the government bureau, whatever. But the change, yes, it did include men. Some does not include all men. The change to the definition of rape changed it so that it's forced penetration of one of the three bodily cavities by an object or by a person.
Yeah. So
it includes men who are penetrated. It still does not include men made to penetrate. Which, if you just barely think about, you could say, why doesn't it include this? And the other thing it includes is
at least it's a step in the right direction.
Well, yes, but you know what? I bet you that they claim that they were proponents for this, but the real big change that at least everybody was celebrating about that change was that it included people incapacitated, which means drunk or unconscious, stuff like that. Which once again, with that with that definition, if a man is completely drunk out of his mind, the woman's sober, and she climbs on top of him and starts having sex with him, that's not rape. But if a man's mostly sober, woman's drunk out of her mind, and he starts having sex with her, that's rape. And so that definition is still a level of inequality. And I'm wondering, you seem to do all this, sorts of research. If you can find any more grounds of the NAW actually supporting that, because that's their big claim. Is like, look, we're for everybody's equality. We were helping men. See us helping men right there.
And
that was us helping men.
That right there, I give them that little small victory because yes, they did do that. However, simultaneously, like I said, they were denying shared parenting bills fanatically. On the grounds that, and here's what they were doing, they were lying and saying the bills mandate that both parents have to have equal time with the children regardless of whether the father is a danger to the children or not. But when you go and read the actual bill, nowhere in there does it say that. It says that if this other parent is not violent or a proven danger to the children, then the default setting should be equal time with both parents. So the burden of proof was on the other party who was claiming that the other parent was a danger to the children. So they lied about that, and I laid out bill by bill by bill showing what the actual text from the bill said and what they were saying and claiming that the bill was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you could see a observable pattern of deception in their claims right there. Now, that's one area where they were demonstrating. Now, they actually admitted that we are biased in favor of the mothers getting custody. They did admit that in their statement too. However, now in addition to them opposing shared parenting, they also opposed every single governmental program that was designed to help men and boys historically. They opposed every single governmental program using the claim that if that program did not include women and girls, that program was unconstitutional. So anytime there was a program created in government that helped, say disadvantaged fathers or disadvantaged boys or anything like that, out comes the National Organization for Women, largest feminist organization on the planet, to oppose that bill and declare it unconstitutional.
Sounds like the disproportionate use of Title IX. How it's always used to defend, girls not being involved in a program. But if it's a guy not involved in a program, Title IX, fuck it, doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I actually counted, and I mean, it took me like 2-3 hours to count.
Wow.
There are 47 U.S. governmental programs for women and or girls only. 47, and there are none for men and boys only. Not a single one.
Wow.
The National Organization for Women is not opposed to, of course, any of those programs that are for women and girls only. Now, more recently, the most recent program that they opposed that was for men and boys only was My Brother's Keeper by President Obama. Now, My Brother's Keeper program was designed to help disadvantaged boys, mentorship programs and things like that. So what happened was, here comes the National Organization for Women, again, the largest feminist organization on the planet, trying to force Obama to include girls into that program and threatening to declare that program unconstitutional as well. So Obama...
How can you declare the program unconstitutional when they're not the Supreme Court?
Exactly. So Obama made some concessions in that program and, said, well, we might, we'll include, girls here or there or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So he included girls in parts of the program after he was bullied by the feminists. So that shows you right there that they are openly biased against men, and that they don't care if those men or boys are disadvantaged or what.
Yeah, look at it. Yeah, I'm looking at articles about this. It's like Alice Walker and Rosario Dawson want women of color included in My Brother's Keeper.
Exactly.
This kind of situations where, but I've looked at America's history and especially the last just for a while we have this problem of like a disenfranchised male youth who are they're lacking this sort of protection and good educational value, and that's what's causing the problems. Is that people aren't getting the love and care and attention they need. These males, that's why they're ending up in places that they shouldn't end up. It has nothing, and females just come and interject. But what about girls? What about girls? What if they need help too? And it's like
you already have enough shit.
You have so many programs.
But see, this is the answer to the question. Well, why aren't these men's rights groups accomplishing anything? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the second they get a program passed in government to help men and boys, out comes the feminists to demand that either an equal amount of resources be dedicated to girls and women, or that program be shut down. And a lot of times what happens is, there's only a certain amount of funding that's dedicated to these programs because it's only supposed to help a certain demographic. So as a result, that funding would be adequate. But when you have to include girls and women in that program as well, all of a sudden you don't have enough funding, so that program is killed. So
basically, it's either you kill the program or we kill the program.
Yeah.
Make your choice.
So they did this when Obama was in office, and they did it when Bush was in office as well with a different program. This program was designed to help fathers. So Once again, it's National Organization for Women. Once again, so this is their track record. You know, it's not that we want to keep bashing feminists, but you know, every time there's something that's designed to help men and boys, here they come, trying to get it either killed or forcing them to include women and girls. You know, which if we had an unlimited amount of funding, yeah, you could include women and girls in every program, and I would be all for that. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, you have a difficult enough time getting a penny for men and boys as it is. So, you know, it's crazy, man, and this is just the fact of the matter.
But when will these problems ever be fixed, though? Like, when will people just get their head out of their asses and just say no to the fucking feminists? Like, hey, you guys already have enough fucking shit going for you. All these fucking free programs and shit. Let these people have something of their own for once, okay?
Well, here's what people would often come to the Exposing Feminism page and tell us. They would say, well, you need to sit down and talk to these feminists, you know. And I would say, well, we would try, and we try, but you know, fortunately, we're banned from all of their pages. First of all, second of all, the last time a men's rights group tried to sit down and talk to feminists and try to fix a problem,
They're not compromising. It's like it's our way or the highway.
Well, this was in 2000, year 2000. This was in Canada, and what happened was the men's rights groups wanted to sit down with the feminists and women's groups to talk about a possible restructuring of the family court system and the way in which custody was situated in divorces and stuff like that. So what happened was the feminist groups refused to even sit down with the men's rights groups. They refused to even sit down with them and demanded a women-only meeting.
Oh my goodness.
So there you go.
What does that tell you right there? So it's
they want to control because see, feminists, right? They try to exclude men from everything, and while the SJWs, on the other hand, they want to exclude like men, white people, anyone who's cis, able-bodied, and shit. So,
well, I mean, anytime you have them censoring men's rights groups on university campuses to the point where you're lucky to even be allowed to have a men's rights group on a university campus. How can both sides talk if those groups aren't even allowed to exist?
Well, because you remember, the big feminist thing here is that the reason men's rights groups don't deserve to exist is their same excuse for getting rid of everything that they say doesn't deserve to exist. It's a hate group. Of course it is. Oh, it's a hate group because somebody on the internet anonymously insulted me, and I assumed he was part of the men's rights group. So it's a hate group. This idea that free speech is good until it becomes hate speech, and hate speech is a line that is constantly being redrawn, reshaped, gerrymandered more than political districting is. It's this idea that
against hate speech laws.
Yeah, we can.
What is hate speech? What is hate speech? Like when can the line be drawn?
It's completely subjective, and they decide that.
Was because anything could be hate speech if it offends the wrong ears.
Oh, of course, and that's the problem. Is that feminists that's their argument against why they won't talk to men's rights people, why they won't even consider it. And like, I'm not going to consider talking to a bigot. Yeah. It's like, oh, why would I ever talk to a racist or a sexist or a homophobe? Why would I ever talk to one of those people? Because they imply that they automatically are when they won't listen to the arguments in the first place. It's just keeping your ears plugged and keep talking. That's what they do.
What would happen, you can imagine what would happen in one of these meetings, if there were some sort of concession, they would bring up rape culture. The feminists and men's rights groups would say, well, we have a solution to rape culture, quote unquote rape culture, because the studies actually show that teaching women self-defense actually lowers the rate of rape and sexual assault significantly. So we want to keep you safe. We want to keep you safe. So we're actually going to put funding into women's defense programs, and on universities, okay. And in exchange, you're going to stop blaming the male gender for rape, and so together we can help fight rape culture. And so now, and they might also say, well, why we're going to teach women to carry, say tasers around too, like a lot of men do. So what's going to happen is, instead of the rate of sexual assault against women dropping 64% in a decade, is going to drop 80-90%. And so the feminists are going to have to keep whining about rape culture when you'd be hard pressed to even find a case of actual rape.
Because there'd be so much.
Prentice, don't you see what you're saying is problematic?
Uh-oh.
Defense courses are inherently male. Therefore, equals patriarchy.
It's a man teaching a woman how to defend herself. Mansplaining,
It's mansplaining. You got to understand shit, Lord. Men have to be taught to not rape, because women.
It shouldn't have
patriarchy.
To do yeah.
But
no.
I'm thinking about my niece, my sister. I don't want her being raped. I don't want any woman being raped. So, our male brain is going to be to find a solution. That the feminist brain is going to be to just tell rapists don't rape, and
Of course. But here's the thing. Like, why even try to have a discussion with feminists if they're unwilling to? Why not? Why not just talk to the average everyday person, right? And just tell them these things, and the public opinion will outweigh the feminist opinion. The media and everything will fucking eject the fucking feminists because they don't want the fucking.
You risk becoming a hug box if you do that. You risk becoming a hug box, an echo chamber, where all you're doing is talking to people who already agree with you.
But when you talk to them, though, if they're like a group chat or whatever, somebody who's sane would have to be in charge of the mic, and somebody who was demonstrably objective, no bias towards feminists or men's rights groups or whoever, or the Anti-SJW groups. They would have to be in charge of that mute button, and actually not give a shit who they offended by muting that person's mic, because what the feminists would try to do is try to shout over the men's rights activists, and they would try not to let them get a word in, and they would try to machine gun them with shaming tactics, shaming rhetoric, and that's not the way you handle a discussion or a negotiation. You can't have one.
They can't have one. They cannot survive. They cannot survive a political discourse without resorting to using labels from their stupid form of identity politics. Of course. They can't survive it.
You would have to say, okay, what are you willing to sacrifice, and what are you on this side willing to sacrifice, so that you can meet a middle ground? You know what I'm saying? On this issue,
it's an impossible question for feminists. It's an impossible question for them at the moment. I mean, I'm pretty sure that eventually the feminists will fucking lighten up, maybe in like 50 years, and then we can have a discussion. But it's just really discouraging, to see these fucking people, right? They don't even want you to have a fucking word.
But I mean, I'd be all for that.
They want to have the monopoly in everything, such as rape and domestic violence and children and everything. They want to have the fucking monopoly on it. When in reality, pretty much everyone gets fucked over to some degree in multiple different areas.
Yeah, and I mean, also what I'd like to see done is I would like to see, say, some men's rights organizations say, well, why don't what I'm going to do, I'm going to put on the books here how much money we make a year, how much donations we get a year. What I want you to do as a feminist group, put on the table how much you make a year. So a certain percentage of our proceeds are going to go to helping women. Since we're the patriarchy, we should be rolling in billions, right?
Should be 23% to make up for all the money they didn't get.
Oh shit!
For it being the patriarchy and supposedly oppressing women, it does a very horrible job.
Yeah.
But
have these feminists ever considered like how horrible the patriarchy is performing? Because these feminists, they get pretty much the say in like a lot of political debates, while people who have a contrary opinion just get shut the fuck down. And they only just there's very little coverage or any kind of condemnation.
Yeah.
Condemnation.
But the IRS doesn't lie, so that my IRS forms, you see exactly how much they made or in donations or whatever. So say, well, we'll give you the 25%. We'll give you 25%.
Are like non-profits not supposed to have any kind of political affiliation?
Yeah.
Or is that only for religious nonprofits?
I'm not sure.
I think it depends on the type. In California, there's a couple different types of nonprofits. The most common one is a 501c3, which is, for the most part, supposed to be non-political, nonpartisan, and they can't make super PAC donation type things. Although super PACs are a great way that people can kind of skirt the beauty of an actual election not based off of economic standing.
Yeah.
So that turns every election into a money grabbing run, which is tons of fun for that's just what a democracy needs, is everybody voting with their wallet.
But I mean,
I would actually be really fucking worried if the feminist organizations decide to become for profit. I would actually be very fucking worried.
Oh, I don't think they would. They're not that narcissist. Well.
Well, don't speak too soon, my friend. What is it? I don't know. I guess it would explain why there's a lot of feminist organizations in California. So they can just skirt around the 501c and just go to another form of non-profit stuff. I'm very limited in this kind of field, by the way.
Yeah, I know a little bit of economics. Just mostly what I know more about law than the average person, but I don't know enough about it to make blanket statements, unfortunately. Gleb's, Red, you guys have been a little silent. Is there anything you guys wanted to discuss on this this particular?
I think they just want us to admire their masculinity. You got Steven with the car.
I always admire Gleb's.
You got Craig with the fucking, brooding, like, male gaze look, just staring at us. And then you have Gleb's, who's just contemplating on
Red's
how
been
to
staring at us this whole time.
picture.
Look at it. Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about?
Not really. It's all been very American-centric, and American laws and American lobbies and IRS, and
that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a little bit more.
My eyes glazed over about quite a while ago.
I was hoping for a little bit more.
I mean, most of us are Americans, and we were talking about Canada.
It's some Euro news. We need some Euro news. There's got to be something going on over here.
Yeah, give us some
juicy morsels.
Personally, no. I'm just here for the ride. I'm just watching whatever, commenting on what else is going on.
I mean, everyone talks about Sweden. I mean, we all know how it's a very culturally diverse, accepting place. I mean,
Never again. Glebs, Glebs, you posted something recently, like just a few minutes ago, I think, in the group.
Which shows how much attention he's paying to what's going on in here.
Oh, it's the new Dr. Randomer cam.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. He's a little off the walls, bouncy, but he's a pretty cool dude. Yeah, well, we have discussed quite a bit, and I have to admit, like, I cannot withstand the power Prentice has of knowledge. Jesus, man, you know your stuff way more than I do.
Well, I'm married, man, so I don't get out a lot, dude. You know how it is. They gotta give up that sex life, so you know you have all that extra energy.
From the way you started, I thought you were one of those pickup artists. You know, that part of the manners too.
Oh shit. No, hey, it's funny, man. Steph and Mama do. I don't know if you guys watch his videos. But, yeah, you know, he says some controversial things, controversial figure. But he's got a pretty interesting video. It's titled "A Downfall of Being a Pickup Artist." And he talks to this pickup artist on there, man. And, you know, this guy's supposedly sharing with him, you know, his techniques and, you know, how he manipulates women and is sleeping with them and stuff. And man, it's some of the lamest shit you've ever heard in your life, dude. I mean, just check that video out on YouTube. Man.
Oh, it sounds great.
It's hilarious, dude.
How many women do you think pickup artists actually pick up?
Well, I mean, if you have to actually study how to pick up women, I doubt any sort of manual is going to help you. Period. Because, I mean, pickup artistry, quote unquote, real pickup artistry is just, you know, you knowing how to talk to women and how not to bore them, basically. You know, I mean, it's just as simple. You talk to people and, you know, you relate to people and things fall into place. You know, you know how to pick up on the unconscious social cues and stuff like that, and different gestures and stuff, and that lets you know that it's okay to pursue her a little bit more aggressively. But I think, you know, with the social media and smartphones and things of that nature, maybe people have lost that art, that natural instinct or art or whatever you want to call it, because back in the day we just talked to women, man. You know, wasn't really that big a deal.
Talking to women is too much. I prefer the chloroform.
Yeah, and you know, it's just to go to the fucking mall and, you know, say, hey, can I have your phone number? And she say, no, you know, get out of my face or something like that. Either she say no or yes, and you know, you'd get rejected more than you get. More than you'd be successful, but you know, you'd be successful some of the time. You know, and as you went along, you got better and better at what you did and your approach and stuff like that. And
just, you know,
don't
do it in an elevator.
Yeah, an elevator.
Honestly, if you have to go to a seminar on how to pick up women, I actually, like, I don't know, like, if like any like the men even know how to talk to women.
Well, I was having a chat about pickup artists this morning, actually. It's Jordan Owen.
Sounds familiar.
It's the guy behind the Sarkeesian Effect.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And, yeah, the way I described it is, to me, pickup artists always go for the low-hanging fruit, the low grazers. They go for the easy... I'll have to be careful because there's a lot of pickup artists in the Anti-SJW group, and I'm about to offend them very greatly, but I don't care.
Come on.
Oh.
Yeah, the sort of women that they target and actually succeed with, when they do succeed, I wouldn't be interested in picking up in the first place.
You know, the very easy women are, pretty much are, like, you know, the insecure ones and shit. Of course, pickup artists go after them.
We all know where Glebs goes on the weekend after he's done being a werewolf. He's busy picking up chicks all the time, right, Gleb? Let's see, what is this picture? You damn it, Glebs. I have to share this now. Oh god. Alright. Puns coming in 3, 2, 1. The real pickup artist, ladies and gentlemen, from Glebs. It's the pickup artist. That pun. God damn it, Glebs.
He's got the wife beater on, huh?
Actually, that guy might get a lot of women as well.
Just for painting that car.
manly.
He's doing pretty manly.
Afraid
Where's
of
the
it.
what the hell, the chicken? What? Wait,
Rubber chicken.
I didn't notice it. What's it doing there?
Hey, at least he's good with the birds.
God damn.
I'm afraid I don't get the joke. What was that about?
It's a pickup artist. That's a pickup truck, and he's
Oh. God. Hey.
Fucking damn.
Oh, on that note, Jesus, I don't think we can get better than that. I'm gonna end today's broadcast with a little video from our friend Glebs. Actually, he's posted on his channel. He's he does YouTube videos, and they're always really funny, and I love watching them because they're not too long. They're just the right amount of time to get the point out. And this is what Not Even Once. I believe this is titled Not Even Once. Basically feminism, not even once. So enjoy a video from our lovely friend. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate the talk. This was really good. Prentice, I hope to have you on more. You have a lot to say about the history of feminism.
Oh, great. Just let me know next time you guys want to do it.
All right. I really appreciate it. Sorry, some of you guys. I know we kind of over talked again, like us dirty Americans
But
do.
don't worry,
I was going to say you're Americans.
you
We
very
used to
much.
it, don't worry. And the stoned guy was talking all the bloody time as well.
I'm always talking. Every time I enter one of these groups, it doesn't matter which hangout I come in, I always talk a lot. I talk endlessly.
Steven, yeah, fix your mic because I want to hear more from you. Because you sounded Harry, if you're watching this, Steven's my new favorite. I like Steven better than you.
We need more British voices. Yeah.
Well, you know what I'll do is maybe either next week or one of the weeks I'll have an all-exclusive British anti-SJW circle jerk, and I'm just going to mute my mic. I won't talk at all. All right.
British
Anyways,
privilege.
Thank you guys. We'll call it British privilege. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all for coming on. Look forward to the next few weeks. Bye, guys.